Hi everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So today I wanted to chat with you about sort of this social media break that I've been on, why I decided to take a social media break, some of the realizations and the benefits that I've kind of discovered from taking this break, and how I've been finding like alternative sources for inspiration while I've been off of social media. So let's get into it. For the most part, I've been off of social media. I have drastically reduced the amount of time I spend on social media, and it's not a complete social media sabbatical because I have been checking Instagram every now and then, Facebook, YouTube. So it's not a complete social media detox, but I have drastically reduced the amount of time I spend on the platform. And some of the things that did help me reduce my time on all of the platforms was one, moving any sort of app. So I used to have my Instagram on the main screen of my phone, and I actually moved my Instagram to the screen over in a specific folder. So it's a little bit harder for me to get to the app. You can also alternatively just delete the app. So before I got my new phone, I used to have TikTok on my phone, and I would spend hours in the evening scrolling on TikTok. It was such a huge time waster. So when I got my new phone, I actually didn't download the app on my new phone, and I haven't checked TikTok since. When it comes to like Facebook and YouTube, what I've done is I'm not really on Facebook that much anyways, but with YouTube, I've created sort of intentional time and space to be on the platform. So I'm not having the need to kind of scroll throughout the day. As well, I also found that kind of discovering when and why I started scrolling on the platforms kind of helped me reduce my time. So it was like things like going in between tasks is when I started scrolling on social media. If I was starting to lose focus on a task is when I started kind of going on social media. If I was looking for inspiration, those are kind of the times of when and why I started going on social media. So basically I can kind of come up with ways to prevent those things from happening in order to like reduce my time on social media. So I took a break off of social media for a couple reasons. One, I have been wanting to do a social media break for a long time, but I just wasn't sure when or how to do one. So when I read David Duchovny's book, The Visual Voice, and he talked about taking a social media break, I kind of just felt that August was the month to do it. The second reason why I decided to take a social media break is I kind of discovered how much social media was influencing my photography, but also my personal life. What I should be doing, what I should be photographing, how I should be editing, what my life should look like now. So I really wanted to give myself time and space to discover my photography in greater depth, but also determine what I wanted my personal life to look like now and in the future. So I really just wanted to create that space for myself without having these influences from the outside world. As well, this month is a really big month for me personally. There's going to be some videos in September kind of chatting about what's going on this month, but it's a really big month for me personally. I have a lot of events happening, and I really wanted to be present for the events that were happening this month, not being distracted by social media, as well not having the need to post to social media. And lastly, I found I was looking to social media a lot for inspiration for my photography, for the newsletter, for YouTube. So I really wanted to challenge myself to find different sources for inspiration. I think the biggest realization that I've come to since taking a social media break is how much I scroll. So there's been so many times throughout the day that I'm so tempted to open my Instagram, YouTube, Pinterest, Facebook app and scroll. So now that I've been forced to kind of like take a break, I've really come to realize all of those sort of social media scrolling impulses I get throughout the day. As well, I feel like ever since I started taking a social media break, my internal compass has started to be driven more by me rather than the outside influences. Like I said earlier, I really found that social media influences my photography and my life, what I should be doing, what I should be photographing, what I should have by now, what my life should be by now. And so I really found that social media influences that. And so since taking a break, my internal compass is starting to kind of change and be driven driven more by me. And originally I was only going to do this social media sabbatical kind of for the month of August, but I might continue doing the social media break until my internal compass is just really being driven by me and not by those outside influences. All right, so because I haven't been on social media, I need to find alternative sources for inspiration. And that's one of the main reasons that I'm oftentimes on social media to begin with, is because I'm trying to look for inspiration for my photography, for the newsletter, for YouTube. So some of the places that I've honestly turned to in order to find inspiration that isn't social media is magazines, books, and podcasts. I've been listening to a lot more podcasts. I've been flipping through magazines, like physical magazines, as well, kind of flipping through the books that I have in order to find all of the inspiration that I'm looking for. That's just one of the ways that I've been finding alternative sources for inspiration. The second is just getting out in nature. I find when I am just out in nature, specifically in the mornings, I feel the most like at peace, relaxed, aligned. So I've really enjoyed like getting out in nature in order to kind of find focus, find inspiration. So I've loved going out to the Thompson Okanagan for the past couple weeks, even if it's for a day, in order to kind of find that inspiration and kind of like rejuvenate the soul. As well, one of the biggest places that I think I have found inspiration is honestly through my morning routine and internal reflections. So every morning for either like 30 minutes to an hour, I try to set aside time to have my tea or my coffee. I don't turn on the TV, I don't go on my phone, and I either just sit there and I brain dump whatever, the jumble that is going on in my head, or I write down in my journal like an internal reflection of what I'm feeling, what it is that I want to achieve, what it is that I want for the next 6 months, or what my heart really wants. And I've honestly found that through this morning routine and through this internal reflections or journaling, I've actually found quite a bit of inspiration into kind of what I want, with photography and YouTube, the newsletter, and all of these things. It's been one of the greatest sources for inspiration. All right, so there's definitely benefits to taking a social media break, and the reasons behind why I ended up taking a social media break might completely be different, and you might not even need to take a social media break because you're not even on social media at all to begin with. Like I said earlier in the video, I was thinking of only doing the social media break for a month, the month of August, but I'm honestly thinking maybe I'll continue and I'll extend the social media break until I've fully discovered that my internal compass is being driven by me and that I'm not being influenced so much by the outside world. Something that I do want to implement regularly is these social media breaks. So maybe for a week, kind of once a month, at the end of the month, taking a break off of social media and not being on the platforms, because I think there are a lot of benefits there. Let me know in the comments if you've ever taken a social media break and what you kind of found the benefits were for yourself. I really hope you enjoyed today's video and you found it useful, and then it made you consider kind of the whole social media aspect in your life. If you like this video, hit that like button and subscribe. Maybe buy me a cup of coffee, and I'll see you in the next one.